China is the elephant in the room. Let's be very clear. Even though they are not named, this alliance is broadly seen, certainly by the Chinese, Mr. Tangen, as being anti-China. Is that how it's perceived, particularly because of Mr. Joe Biden, the US President's statement yesterday that if Taiwan was to be attacked, the US would and Japan would intervene. How is that being seen in Beijing? Is this being seen as an anti-China alliance being forged?
Well, of course it has. I mean, that's one of the reasons I enjoyed my colleague. And he said that he was very dismissive, that, you know, Wang Yi was claiming this was against China. And then in the second half of his answer, he said, obviously, this was aimed at China because it was held in the East. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, China is concerned, and justly so. I mean, you know, the situation in Ukraine, from their perspective, was the U.S. knowingly pushed in and created Ukraine into a proxy state to create a war. Mm-hmm. For PR purposes initially. Now they see that the Ukrainians are resisting, and they're saying, oh, gee, this works out well. And mm-hmm. Obviously, Beijing is concerned that they're going to try to do the same thing with Taiwan, especially in view of Biden's third slip of the tongue, which is always being walked back by his advisors, saying, oh, no, we've not departed from strategic mm-hmm. ambiguity or anything like that. Or he just said it off the cuff. Well, mm-hmm. he said it 3 times in as many months. At some point, you have to believe him.
So when you say that the Chinese are they concerned about it? Do they see the forging of the strengthening of Quad as an attempt specifically to contain China? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, they're obviously concerned if 4 of your people or 4 powerful countries get together and basically draw a bullseye on you. I think India would be concerned about something like that. Obviously, they have to do it. But when you start looking at what actually happened, most of it was a talk shop. They talked about $50 billion, a one-time investment into infrastructure and green and this. I didn't really identify how it was going to be raised or what projects would be funded. China, on the other hand, just through the Belt and Road Initiative, each year puts in about $60 billion. So, I mean, China it sees this as kind of minor attempts to kind of convince nations that they're doing something. You know, go back to the ASEAN meeting in Washington. Biden promised $150 million for 10 nations to do all sorts of wonderful things. It was a slap in the face. They just didn't know what to make of it. Plus, he didn't even bother to have one-on-one meetings with these leaders who had come all the way to Washington. Unfortunately, Biden, he has a lot of rhetoric, most of it aimed at the domestic side, as his poll numbers flag, but it doesn't seem to be having a clear strategy.